Vanuatu and climate change. Now, why Vanuatu has been one of the major island nations that have been in news recently when it comes to climate change? It is one of the very small archipelago where you have nearly 80 to 83 island groups that are there, and it lies in the region of Melanesia, close to Australia, as you can see. And Port Blair is the capital. Note, this Port Blair is different from Port Blair of Andaman and Nicobars. Vanuatu is one of the countries which has the lowest greenhouse emissions in the world, but still it is one of the nations which has been worst affected by the climate change. So understanding the territory of Vanuatu is very important, and how measures have been taken in the region of Vanuatu to preserve their island nation. Now, what actually happened in the last 10 decades, we have seen that the temperature has increased by 2 degrees Celsius and the sea levels have risen by 6 centimeters, which is far much more beyond the normal sea level rise of around 2 centimeters across the globe. So definitely it is among the SIDS, as we call as small island developing nations, and these small island developing nations are seriously vulnerable group when it comes to climate change. All of these island groups that are located in the archipelago are volcanic in origin and has a population of around 2 to 3 lakh people. The ever increasing population, the higher amount of human waste being collected, and the levels being compounded by the climate change have led to worst kind of scenarios with high level of disease prevalence, be it waterborne diseases, be it airborne diseases, and again you have significantly higher number of malnourishment levels that have been seen. And the reason associated to this malnourishment is mainly the impact that has been seen because of the depleting water and intensifying cyclones, floods and droughts. So the local crops have started to vanish and people are not able to get themselves self-sufficient. In 2015, one of the worst hit cyclones affected Vanuatu, and that was Cyclone Pam. This Cyclone Pam affected nearly 75,000 people of the total 2 to 3 lakh population that we say, and it displaced a significant amount of population. The UN report on climate change says that Vanuatu has the first island which was affected by internal mass migration because of climate change in 2011. So since 2011, there has been rising concern among the people there to protect their island and to get support from the other developed and developing nations of the world. People have been moving thousands of kilometers inwards. The region where they used to previously play footballs are now turning into fishing and boating areas. So there has been a significant loss of land in the island nation, and this is the way we understand the increasing vulnerability. Now 80% of the population living in Vanuatu actually derives its local needs from three of the main things. Those are agriculture, then you have fisheries, and then tourism recently has been an increasing activity in the island of Vanuatu. The region does not provide any social security, no free education to children, and for employment when it comes, tourism is mainly outsourced by the offshore companies, and the local people are paid miserably low, and therefore they are highly prone to economic crisis. Numerous studies have been done, and the International Organization of Migration has brought up a data which says that by 2050, nearly one of every 45 person on this earth would be uprooted because of the climate change. So there would be a migration that would be induced due to climate change. and we have already seen a huge amount of internal migration from the low-lying areas to the hilly areas within the island itself in the case of Vanuatu. Now, what are the key aspects that the island is trying to go for? The first is, despite the fact it is one of the lowest carbon dioxide emitters, lowest greenhouse emitters in the globe, it has been trying to protect environment through bringing up solar plants. Coconut fuel is a unique way of powering their economy. Now, with one coconut tree, you have nearly 0.1 liters of fuel that is generated, which is sufficient to bring in a TV program for half an hour. And that is how they are planting more and more of coconut. Again, coconut is one of the resilient crops to climate change. So, definitely it's one of the big advantage they have seen. Mangroves have been depleting significantly. Mangroves actually create a binding across the coastal area and protect the sea waves entering into. Now, last year in a mission that was planted, of the 100 saplings that were planted for mangroves, only 6 could actually survive. So, induced plantation for mangroves is indeed a very challenging and difficult task. Similarly, a lot of region is being affected or is known for tourism because of the coral. But due to rising sea temperatures, these corals are now bleaching. As the corals bleach, the population of the fish in those areas becomes scarce. Now, fish has been a source of dietary protein for the people of Vanuatu. 80% of the total protein in the diet is being derived from fishes. With the decreasing amount of fishes that are seen due to coral bleaching activities, what has happened? Fish, which was a traditional food for them, has turned into a delicacy. And with German collaboration, now people are moving towards more resilient form of poultry, and pig farming has been started. A variety of pig has been introduced which is highly resilient to climate and weather changes and can survive well in the climate of Vanuatu. Also, building up of stone walls to protect the sea waves entering into the island has been done on a regular basis. You have another grass which is known as vetiver grass, which is grown in the region surrounding Vanuatu, and that grass basically stops soil erosion. So again, very important. And as we said, the root crops, which were mainly the taro, yam, sweet potato along with avocados, coconuts, papayas, have started to decline, and because of the rising sea levels, the water is turning salty, and since the water is turning salty, it is no more fit for agriculture. So the agriculture crops which previously used to be abundant in those areas are significantly declining. Now the major supermarkets in Vanuatu see import of agricultural crop because the local region is not able to produce significant amount of agricultural crops to meet the growing population. So agriculture is declining, fish, which is one of the major source, is declining, and therefore the malnourishment levels have significantly increased in the children. Again, if we talk about the ideas associated to climate change, we need to understand, as we said, temperature and sea level have been worst affecting the region of Vanuatu. Powerful storms are now coming. Cyclones are affecting the coast. Previously, the cyclones used to be in the category 3. Now their intensity has increased to category 5, and one season can witness 2 to 3 cyclones in a given season, which is significantly high. Also, there has been lot of funding that is going in, but can you imagine the scarcity in the funding, because the Green Climate Fund, which is one of the major climate financing organization, provides nearly $23 million to Vanuatu for the destructions that has been caused, and a single cyclone that affects Vanuatu can cost nearly $440 million. So the funding is hundreds of times less than the destruction that is being caused by the cyclones every year. Also, a big question is, when the people of Vanuatu are not responsible for the climate change, why are they paying the cost for the climate change? Why the people have to move, they have to relocate, why there is lot of internal migration that has started, and who would be supporting the families, who would be supporting the people who have been downtrodden with the levels of malnourishment? The serious studies that have been seen show that 1 in every 5 child is being affected by severe to very severe malnourishment under the age of 5 years in Vanuatu. Similarly, a significant increase in waterborne diseases, mainly dysentery, cholera, and then you have significant number of vector-borne diseases like malaria, dengue that has been spreading at a very fast pace in the islands of Vanuatu. So it's time to take concern as to how to protect these small island developing nations, and a cause of concern for the globe as such, the developing and the developed nations who have been one of the major polluters and the major emitters of greenhouse gases. We would be bringing many important sections in environment. Protecting our environment is indeed a major cause for all of us.